Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to our second webinar of the day. If you're on this side of the Atlantic, and if you're joining us from the US, good afternoon, good morning, depending on which time zone you're in. It's great to have you on board, and I'm here today, myself, Duncan Beattie, and I've also got Jennie Marwick-Evans, who's our Director of Marketing, and both of us will be taking you through some slides and some information and some chats about what we are doing as GB Labs to help you in these difficult times. What we've got up coming up on our roadmaps, and also some new announcements and things like that. So we're here to help you try and win sales and gain some traction with our customers and help our customers. So I will hand over to Jennie to do the first part of the presentation. Over to you, Jennie.
Thank you very much. Slide number 1, please. So hello, I'm Jennie. I'm the Marketing Director for GB Labs. Hopefully I'll have seen quite a few of you over the last year, but obviously this year we're not meeting at NAB or IDC or probably any show this year. So what we're trying to do is do some of the stuff that we would have actually been able to do face to face, but not unfortunately right now. So where are we now? I'm going to start with the big elephant in the room, which is COVID-19 or coronavirus, or corona time, as people are actually calling it now. And everything has changed. There's just no ways about it, wherever you are in the world. And a new way of working is needed. It's called the new norm, but I think it's actually just normal now. And what we realize is that you, our partners, and therefore your customers, you need help and support, but actually it really needs to mean something. Everybody can talk, but we actually need some substance behind the words. So we're going to be explaining a couple of new initiatives that we've got for you, as well as some new product updates as well, so that we can actually go on this road together. But what we'd really like is that we work together in partnership. This is all about actually how we can help you. So whatever you might be experiencing or having some issues with, we'd really like to share that and actually help you with it. Next slide, please.
So as we're talking about this, and one of the major things that is coming out of this environment, of course, is that people are looking at costs. And again, that brings us back to the whole subject of what storage is and why all storage is not the same. And for many years, of course, we've had, especially recently, we've had the people say NAS is NAS, but we really know that that's just not the case. And many customers, unfortunately, are buying the wrong storage to do the job. They're buying the wrong type of storage, or they're buying IT storage when they should be providing production storage. And unfortunately, a lack of understanding that production shared storage is about providing support for the multiple files, multiple users, and the chaos of media workflows. And media workflows, there are none the same. I think all of us can look at our end users and look at our customers and realize that across all these people, they're all producing content, but none of the workflows are the same. So, you have to buy storage that understands that and can adapt to it. Customers need storage systems to perform, and a system that understands them. Also in this environment, again, because cost is a big issue now because of what's happening, people are buying storage on cost rather than, again, looking at what it does. So we really need to help people focus on that, help them understand the demands to be placed on their storage system, and not only looking at spreadsheets. Understanding the customer is key, and testing is key, which is what we do. And good production storage will control the delivery of data by prioritizing what is important and make automatic decisions on who gets what portion of the overall bandwidth. This is what we do. We have this IDA built into our systems to help understand this and help react to it. And of course, above all, easy to manage and not a drain on studio resources. A lot of studios, even some fairly good-sized studios, will have production team members actually in charge of the kit, and we want to make sure we minimize that drain on their resources. They need to be there to produce stuff. And part of that, of course, is our Core OS. Core OS it's easy to own and deploy and easy to use. It's had some great features over the years. Just last week, we have released our new version of Core, So we've got our 4.41 update out. This contains quite a few key things within the networking, some UI updates, some enhanced functionality for bonding, for jumbo frames, for IP routing in the GUI and interface naming options, so making it easier to work with those interfaces. The workspaces had improvements with the Active Directory functionality, updates to SMB and AFP, and many improvements to the GUI in editing, and some back-end module optimization as well. So we've actually increased the performance of the workspace module. The LTOs had some cosmetic tweaks, as well as some improved LTS reporting, and our cloak system has got improvements to the auto reset after a failover on the failover module, and updates to the UI as well. There's also a lot of smaller bug fixes and enhancements in the background, but these are the kind of major ones that are going to make a difference. So I think one of the things that we need to look at really is about what we're already doing in this difficult environment. You know, what can people already do with their GB Labs equipment? Well, we've got remote support, of course. We've got IPMI, the lights out management on the motherboards. Every system has that remote ability. So if it's set up, IT guys, the managers, the admins can work from home. They can get to their storage and control it as if they're sat there. There's no client software needed for that. We have the remote access with VPN, web connections. There's all standard connections to come through the storage. There's no special client required. And we've got pre-config and remote installation. So working with our partners, we can help assist a pre-configuration of the server, allowing remote install. We've just done an install with a broadcaster in the UK, where we've configured the equipment with the reseller to the specifications. It's been shipped to site where it's been quarantined for 3 weeks, and then it's been installed by their engineers on location, and then we have helped the reseller do the remote installation. So really the reseller has not even had to be on site to complete this installation, and the system is in and running. So we really enjoy working with our partners to do this. We've also got simple integration with these multiple providers. We're talking about cloud providers and integration with them. And we've also, at the moment, got many customers that are already working remotely. So we've assisted a lot of customers to get staff home, to help getting their media across, all sorts of things like that. Just before I move on to the next slide, I did forget to say that we do have a questions pane in the chat window. So on the control window you've got with your software, there is a questions tab there. So any questions you have, please ask, and I will catch them up at the end. So how do we access this storage? How do we get into it? So some very simple rules. We've got some of these videos on the website, but I wanted to touch on them anyway. So remote desktop into your systems. So from the internet, remote accessing the Macs with back to Mac, with TeamViewer, with remote desktop on PC, and from there into the storage. Other ways of accessing storage is good old VPN, virtual private network. Very, very simple to set up. A lot of our partners have helped clients do this. You've got secure access into the storage network, and then from there, secure access into the GB Lab storage as well. We even have extra security built into the workspaces. So there you can actually lock the IP addresses of the VPN traffic into the workspaces. So you're either on the internal network or the VPN network. So it's really an extra level of security. We have replication tools, of course, built into all of our products. We can replicate data from folders straight out to the cloud. We can use replication to replicate files from the cloud down to the storage. And again, these are already built into the system at the moment, rather than just perhaps applying a small client license to allow you to see something in the storage. We've got all this functionality already. If you've got a space or an ecosystem, you've got automation built in. So we've got watch folders, again, the ability to push files out, push files around, perhaps even use automation to push files to a corporate LAN, and then customers can use their corporate VPN to get into that LAN server and pick up files that way. So lots of different ways of doing it. And if you need assistance on this, please reach out to us, and we're very happy to help advise on what can be done. So the future, production is now a real challenge. But we're fighting back, and production is starting up again. Offices and studios are being redesigned for social distancing. You know, studios that had perhaps a load of edit suite rooms, they're great for that kind of environment because they're closed and they're secure. But we really need to be ready to serve and service our industry. We need to be ready for when production starts again. And we are here to help you, to help your clients get back on their feet. This is important for the entirety of our industry, that we will help each other get back to where we were before, or as close to as possible. And there's a very, very good reason for that, because quite honestly, where has all the content gone? Those that have staff members that have been furloughed have probably been box setting everything they can on Amazon and Netflix and Disney Plus and everything else. And to be honest, what happens there is that you get to a point of looking at Netflix and go, I've got nothing to watch because you've done all the good stuff. So content has not been produced for a while because it's been shut down and now it's running out. And this is true everywhere. And as it picks back up again, you know, the larger places are going to be producing content, but smaller companies are going to be involved as well, because it's going to be a mad rush to get new content out there ready to be consumed, because there's still a lot of people at home. There's still a lot of people not at work and not doing their normal lives. So they need to be ready for production when it comes back online. You know, I want to produce, but I can't produce easily in this environment. Production needs to now be done on site, on premise, in the cloud, and home-based as well. We need to be able to offer everything. And sharing of these assets has never been more vital, but crucially without heavy training and investment. And what I mean by that is investing in a massive MAM system or changing your workflow to fit new tools that are being released by people. You know, changing your entire workflow is going to be expensive and time consuming, and we really need to make sure we stay away from that as much as possible. And crucially, many smaller production companies will be used to bring this content back. So what do we feel is needed? Well, we feel that on-premise performance for socially distanced heavy production, and what we mean by that is if you have on-premise work going on, so 4K editing, 4K color correction, perhaps customer previewing, you know, it's very, very difficult to do a 4K preview with Dolby Atmos at home in your kitchen if you're working there. You know, customers need to still be able to see this kind of thing. We need to be able to access files from many sources for home and location workers. We want to work with our clients, not dictate it. We want to work with our clients' workflow, not dictate it. You know, we always have done this. We've always worked with our clients. Simple management of all of these things as well. And this can't only be available to large companies. Smaller companies need this kind of help, and we really can be the hub of clients' production needs. We can work with them, which is what we're looking to do. So with that in mind, I'm going to hand back to Jennie for the next slide to talk about how we can help and what we're going to be doing moving forward. And that includes all sorts of updates and new projects as well.
Right. This is where I come in and I'm getting pretty excited about the different sorts of stuff that we've got planned for you. And first of all, I have to say thank you, because it's actually all through the chats with our sales guys that we've actually come up with all these great ideas. But don't feel limited to what we're actually listing here. If there's something else you think, oh my gosh, I really need this, or this would really help, then please do tell us. As Duncan says, we're really here to help each other. So, and that's, yes, of course, we want to sell products, as do you, but actually we're here to sort of offer advice and support as well. So one of the things that we're actually launching is something that would have happened at NAB and IBC. These are our one-on-one meetings, no substitute for face-to-face, but we're actually now going to be doing one-on-one virtual meetings. And a lot of the time at shows, we don't necessarily let our developers out. You know, they're quite special. We feed them beer and pizza, that kind of thing. But actually, this is an opportunity to talk to all of our support guys, our R&D guys, technical, commercial, anybody that you would actually like access to, we're now offering. So we're going to have a number of time slots available. We're actually going to list some of the agendas, but we'd actually like you to help us with that agenda. So we're interested in working with you and your customer. It can be as many of you and your customers as you want. and as many of us or as few as you actually want. But we're actually interested in discussing openly, candidly, your customer requirements, goals, and roadmaps, where they're thinking of going, because now is actually the time to prepare as well. Disaster recovery was talked about. Frankly, we're living that disaster right now. But there will be other ways that actually people need to mirror what they've got. And as Duncan's talked about, we're in our homes, we're in our studios, we're in our basements. And sometimes that VPN works, sometimes it doesn't. So we actually want to really engage with you and find out what you're learning as well. Following on from probably a lot of that, but we're actually dictating some of those agendas as well, we're going to be doing a short series of webinars. So this is the first one in that, and we were rather interested to know what the appetite for this sort of thing would be, because I don't know about you, but death by Zoom and Teams and Skype, it's pretty overpowering really. So we're going to make these really short and completely relevant to right now. We're workflow COVID-19. Because again, it's having a massive impact and continues to. So, and this is, I would really appreciate some of your input on what we've talked about or what you would like. And as I say, that can be in the chat room that Duncan's mentioned, or else it can just be emailed. But these are going to be short and sweet so that we can actually help you. I'm going to be getting Duncan and Ben and Dominic and a couple of others actually into the office in front of that green screen. And we're going to be doing a number of videos. These are going to be how-tos, hints, tips, and tricks. We've also got some great customers and partners with you guys who are actually willing to share some good and bad bits about what they've experienced with actually working remotely. So these again are going to be relatively short and sweet. And if there's anything in particular you would really like, we have different languages on offer as well, not probably from Ben & Co, but we'd be quite happy to actually work with you so that we could do something en Espanol or in Italiano, en Francais, whatever you actually need. We're here to make you be the best you can be. And that leads very nicely onto our new dealer program. There are going to be some incentives and some extended credit options so that again, we can share the pain of your customers getting ready for when they need to hit that green light. We're actually going to be looking at some, that dreaded word again, COVID-19 product specific updates as well. And in fact, Duncan's got a couple in a second. And probably more importantly than anything else right now, we need to have a really good competitor analysis. So you are going to be coming up against the same sort of questions as well as some new things. So it will be a lot easier if you just had these FAQs there, so that when somebody asks you about, sort of dollars per terabyte or whatever else it might be, you can actually come up with some answers. So this is the stuff that we are putting together to help you sell in a far more potentially just very, very focused way. Next slide, please. So this is an example for those that we've met over the last year or so. This is what our partner sales toolkit has looked like. So this is going to be a new improved, potentially a little bit on steroids, and they're still going to be talking about the products and the technology, but the emphasis is going to be far more on actually putting it more about the benefits than the real features, making this absolutely applicable for what you're finding out on the field with your customers. Next slide, please. Yes, some recent successes. So I've got the technology ones and Duncan's actually got the customer ones. So this is a partnership with a company called Ortana. They're actually a UK-based company. And we've split this into pain requirement solutions, so you can read it just as well. But they really wanted something. They wanted to be able to demonstrate, they're a MAM provider, and they wanted to demonstrate interoperability through a proactive integration. And they looked at a number of vendors, as you can imagine, but we actually came up trumps and came off on top. And through that, we've actually put something together called Kiosk. And this is almost a bring your own storage. So it's actually enabling lots of their current infrastructure. We can sit on top of that. So again, this is not about throwing everything out and reinventing it. It's actually about working with their existing infrastructure, whether it comes to upgrading or expanding. this is actually a very, very flexible way of doing it, especially right now. Next slide, please. Atto. So speed is everything, as especially right now, and we're all having to probably struggle with some home internets as well. So, but what we really found from a lot of our customers was they needed to achieve maximum performance consistently. So this did mean that they needed a really good connection for their creative workstations or processing platforms. And this became even more key when we're working in different parts, you know, from the office to homes to wherever. So we're actually proud of this partnership. It was announced probably just about a month ago now. So, and this is both R&D teams working together, again, collaboratively, all about actually what the market wants and therefore you want and therefore your customer wants. Again, low latency, massively important with the lag. So all this information on Ortana and Atto, the next couple that are coming up, are on our website. We've overhauled the website a lot. There's a lot of videos on there. So we're really putting everything on there, and the partner portal as well. We're really, really maximizing everything we can think of that you might need right now. So if you don't have access to that, please do get in touch with us as well. Next slide, please.
Lovely, thank you, Jenny. So I'm going to talk about a couple of customer stories. We've had some great successes recently, some toward tail end of last year and moving into this year, but we've had some great stories as well. So one of them is with NHL, the National Hockey League in the US, and some great work with the mini space SSD 1RU, really helping them do sort of sports analytics and all sorts of high-end access requirements on location. A great story with those guys. We've had a great installation in Paris with Centreville TV. This is with an Avid environment, so they have an Avid online environment, and they were looking for a very simple and easy way to be able to take high-end content off the expensive Avid storage and place it elsewhere and bring it on and offloading between the two. And when they looked at the software that we have inside the Echo 36, which includes the Mosaic, of course, they were really pleased with the workflows and with the automation and the watched folders, as well as the Mosaic that can catalog their export files. So a really good job with them. We've also had a great story come out from a company called the Viewmasters, who are from the Netherlands, and you know they were looking to scale up from their larger projects, but what they really wanted to do is to be able to have a very simple scaling process. So when they were looking at what to do with their old equipment, they decided that actually upgrading it and expanding it and taking the new OS on board was the best thing to do, and adding an easy LTO. So the system is still powerful enough for them to use, but they've expanded it and continue using it. And they just love the fact that people can turn up and plug in and do what they need to do. So really, really simple way of working. So we've got some great stories still coming out. Jennie and the team are producing even more content as well, and great success stories. If you have customers who you think that could do a great story for you and us together, then please reach out to Jennie and we can make that happen for you. So that's kind of the end of the presentation as we see it, but I'm going to move on to the Q&A because we've got quite a few questions that have come up. And please, if you want to ask any questions, please tap them into the question window and they'll come up. So let's start at the moment. So the first one, what are the current delivery times given the situation? So our current delivery times on spinning disk is completely as normal. Our production team are still working. In fact, we've had quite a few orders in over this time as different parts of the world have sort of started to come back online. So orders have got the standard 3-week lead time. If it's a large SSD system, just contact us, just double check. But yes, production has not been affected by this. I have a QNAP. A customer has a QNAP. How easy to migrate content? Okay, well, actually, if a customer's got a QNAP, if you're talking about those first few slides where you have got people perhaps getting the wrong type of storage for what they need to do, then you can utilize the replication tools inside the software. Actually, if you bear with me, I'm just going to log into the Office one. Let's just quit out of this. And let's get into the Office server. Live and not pre-recorded. Okay, so this is our demo system in the office running the new version 4.1.4. So yeah, you've got the ability here with the replication, and it's very easy to be able to create a migration. So you can see that someone set one up here, so you could click into the replication tool, and your source of data where you're pulling in from would be another NAS. So this could be an SMB share from your QNAP or Synology or whatever you want to pull over. And we can start this off. Let's put a schedule in and say we're going to start it at 10 o'clock at night and finish at 8 o'clock in the morning. And you can leave it there for maybe a week or so to migrate 50, 60, 70 terabytes over to our storage. And then, of course, if you want to, you can reverse it. So actually, your source of data could be a local workspace and your destination be the old server, so we can reuse it. A question comes from a partner here. What's really needing is NDI ingesting of multiple channels directly to the storage. So NDI we are working with at the moment and we are testing. We have got playout and ingest working well. What we want to do is make sure we integrate this really well into our software. So now that we released 4.1.4, the next major update is 4.2. And we're looking to have all sorts of new features in there. And as Jennie was mentioning before, some of these features will be very much aimed towards the current situation of people wanting, still having on-site performance, but also having the ability to be able to work in different locations, in different clouds. You know, the earlier slide talking about perhaps Amazon and Dropbox at the same time. There really isn't just a cloud, there is the cloud, and in the cloud there are multiple different clouds. You know, you've got all these different providers. You've got Dropbox, you've got Wasabi, Backblaze, Amazon. You've got some based on AWS, some not based on AWS, but they don't really talk to each other. And we want to make sure that we can reach out and talk to all of those and make it work well for people. Is there any ransomware protection? Someone's asked in. Not currently inside the storage, no. However, one of the major updates coming in version 4.2 is a lot of security. So because you have more people working remotely, then the security systems are going to be taken much, much higher with inside the box as well. So a lot of encryption, certificate connections, SSL, all sorts of connections in. One question here that's come in as well. Not all the questions coming all over the place. Fantastic. How can I help customers repurpose their existing storage architecture? Well, that's very similar to what I've just shown you with this. So there's two ways we can do that. We can replicate the data, so we can pull data in and out. If you look at the Bridge product, the Echo Bridge, of course, we can recycle and repurpose existing SAS or fiber storage within that as well. So if you are moving people away from SAN, we can take their existing SAN storage. After we've migrated the data, we can plug that into the Bridge. We can turn it into an Echo by reformatting that SAN storage, and then we've got all the tools and the automation and everything you get in there. Is Core 4 faster than Core 3? Core 4 has actually got a brand new engine in it. So yes, the engine inside is much, much more efficient. It's a later kernel, a later generation of Linux kernel. It's very, very efficient. It's allowed us to do all sorts of things like add in all the dynamic bandwidth, the mosaic aspect of it's the asset organizing mosaic, the dynamic bandwidth control, enhanced IDA. So the in-flight data acceleration is enhanced as well with it. So yes, it's very much a better software, a really, really good upgrade. What cloud partners will be added on the Q3, Q4 roadmap? So cloud partners at the moment, we have Dropbox, Backblaze, AWS and SohoNet, and we're looking to add in providers like Wasabi. We're also talking to looking at adding in Azure as well, Google Cloud. So there's many more that we're looking to add in. We've actually rewritten the cloud engine to be able to add in these providers. So a real big boost of cloud content. But as normal with GB Labs, we want to be able to do it in a slightly different way than normal. So we want to be able to access it. Actually, a quick question has come in and said, how easy is it to integrate with the cloud? And we had this morning, actually, the same thing. So what we can do is have a look. Let me just go and get my cloud integration, my Dropbox up. Okay. So here's a Dropbox account. So in here you can see we've got our Dropbox, Final Cut projects, low res media or low res and media. So in here we've got some media files. These, of course, if you're inside Dropbox, are playable. So you can actually play that content back with or without audio. So it is actually viewable. If we flick back over to here, once you have that cloud connection, so if I go to my cloud services, you can see that I've got the same Dropbox connected. Once it's there, we can then use that in many different places. So we could replicate to it. So it could be a source or destination replication. I can use automation on a Space and Echo to push files automatically up to it. But if I have File Manager, I can actually browse my cloud storage. So here you can see my Dropbox. I can go in there, and there are my folders. I can go to my media. I could go and grab that file, that Nitro monitor, go to my Studio Share, my Studio Workspace, and copy it down. Or I could move it down, depending on what I want to do. So there you can see that it's now copying that file directly down onto the storage. I can then go to my workspaces, that Studio Workspace. So now I can see on my Studio Workspace. So let's mount that and connect into it. Let's get my Finder up. My connector server. Too many screens at home. Connect in there. And you can see there's my Studio Share. And there is the file that I just dragged down. So there is my file, and I'm playing that. And I'm actually working from home. I'm on a VPN, connected to my storage in the office, being able to work from it. So yeah, very easy to integrate a cloud. Okay, so any development to ingest a stream of RIST protocol. So one of the ingest things we're working on, although we are looking at NDI, we're looking at all sorts of ingesting. Now, currently, if you want to ingest, you do it through a third party. So you'd have a capture system to be able to ingest and write files directly onto the storage. But we're looking at expanding and working with all sorts of different types of ingesting, not just NDI, but the other forms as well. So I'm not sure whether that's on the roadmap. What we can do is, I've got a record of who asked the question. So what we can do is we can find that out for you, and we'll come back to you and let you know. So I'm just going to make a note of that, because I do not have the answer to hand. Okay, so if there are any more questions coming through at all, that'd be great. Otherwise, if not, I think we might be done for the day. Just before we go, before I hand back to Jennie, just to close off, personally, I'd like to say thank you very much for your time. I hope you're all well. I hope everybody's well. We really want to help you, to help your customers get through this. We love this industry that we're in, and we want to make sure it recovers as quickly as possible. And we're here to help. And we've got some really, really good stuff up our sleeves that we're working on at the moment. I wish I could tell you, but I can't just yet. But bear with us. We've got some great stuff coming. So back over to you, Jennie, to close off.
I'll just say ditto to all that. But basically, Yeah, I know, right? But actually, no, we do genuinely mean it. We really appreciate you're really, really important to us, our partners. And I think the relationship we've got with you is pretty unreal in many respects. So working together, I know we can get through this. Just let us help you. So reach out. It doesn't matter how stupid or how silly, or you might think that you've asked it a million times before. Everybody is different and every customer is different, and you're all experiencing a phenomenal time at the minute. So we're here to help you through that challenge as much as we possibly can. So email us, check out the website, whatever you need, we're here for you, and we'll see you again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care. Stay safe.